Now Petterson's a blast. All that hit. Diving save. Hart as he flashes across. Briere sets up Carl. Side of the net. Deflected. Score! Briere moving in. Stops. Cuts to the middle. Still has it. Shot! Score! Here's Hughes giving it across. Oh, it's right out. Save by Maher. Short-handed mid. He scores! Up top, cruising is Provorov. He scores! Ivan Provorov!
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Florida Podcast. I'm your host, Amedeo Grassia, along with my partner, Chris Maher. As always, we are live streaming on the Painted Lines, TTP Sports and Flyers Fan Mania 93. And for people who cannot join the live stream, you're late or whatever, because I know we're recording right this, what is it, like 10 o'clock at night or something like that?
So exactly 10:02.
Yeah. So if you can't join this at the time, if you're in bed or anything like that, it's always going to be on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts at. So, a lot of podcasts late Sunday night, the day before Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final between the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Wow, just getting to this point, I definitely know a lot of people's brackets are definitely broken. It definitely feels like 2019 all over again, where literally no first-place team made it past the first round of the playoffs that year. And then, Tampa Bay getting upset by Columbus, everything, all of that. Montreal upsetting Toronto. I bet no one had Montreal move past the first round. Yeah, definitely. I'm the schmuck that said Toronto is going to win the cup, so I feel bad about that.
Yeah, I had them or Vegas, if you remember, since I am fantastic at predictions. If you didn't know,
I mean, aren't we all? Aren't we all?
I mean, it's great. No, but in all seriousness, it's weird. It's two teams from the Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
In a normal year in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, definitely weird. I mean, it also could have been a year that you saw Boston and Montreal in the final, or Toronto and Boston in the final, if you put it that way.
That's terrible.
I mean, that would have been fantastic for ratings for the NHL.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would have. Yeah.
And speaking of ratings too, the one thing that's honestly, like, even before we get into all this, like a little bit of a minor rant on this, the thing that NBC is doing with it feels like they're not even promoting anything with the playoffs, like especially in the semifinals. Like, if they're just they're putting semifinal games on USA. Who the fuck is going to watch hockey on USA? It's literally that.
I mean, it was great for me because when I was in Florida, I didn't have the sports network, so that those like free games that were on USA. I was like, fuck it, I'll watch the game.
For you specifically, yeah.
For the one schmuck in Florida, yes.
Yeah, for your average Joe, like, no one's gonna I'll put on what channel's the hockey. They're not gonna go and find USA to find a hockey game. That's what's gonna be more thankfully beneficial about ESPN and TNT, Turner Sports, all that. For next year, because it just right now it's just feeling like NBC is giving up on the NHL, because it just feels like they just don't care, man. Like, you're putting games on USA. Like, come on, the average Joe is not going to put on USA for a goddamn hockey game. I'm going to tell you that right then and there. Like, I can understand though, they're putting the Olympic trial. Like, I understand the Olympics. They're in a month. They're like around like the end of July, beginning of August. So I can understand you're going to broadcast those things too, but. Come on. It's literally the semifinals of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, they need to be put on TV. Yeah. They just need to be. And I hope these finals kind of don't, like, they're definitely in Canada. No, the ratings are going to bolster up because it's a Canadian team in the finals, but hopefully hopefully it's not like a poorly rated finals in the US. I just hope, because this is definitely going to be a very fun matchup indeed, because you got Tampa Bay Lightning, second year in a row in the Stanley Cup Finals, Stanley Cup champions last year, looking to repeat, and Montreal just going through their entire story this season. Just no one expected them to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were down 3-1 in that series. Everyone counted them out immediately. They won that series coming down from 3-1. No one expected them to beat Winnipeg. They swept Winnipeg. No one expected them to beat Vegas, and they shut down the top two lines of the Vegas Golden Knights. Mark Stone had no points. Marcia Show had no points. Like, that entire Patch Reddy had 1 goal that series. Carlson didn't really have that much. Montreal shut them down. and Carey Price. Honestly, this could also be a thing too, because would you agree with this, Chris? Because regardless who wins the cup, do you think Carey Price is going to win the Conn Smythe regardless, just because of what he has done for Montreal on this run?
Could be like that J.S. Seguer.
Yeah, that's what, or Hackstall, what he did for the Flyers.
I guess it depends on what happens in the final, would be my guess. I think that definitely added to it. I mean, Jaguar was fantastic in that final, too. So, I don't know. It's a great point. It could. The thing is I don't necessarily like. What is that voted on? Is that media?
I think it's the press that votes on the Conn Smythe. I think it's that. I don't think it has any fan implications. I don't think it has any player implications. I think that is strictly media based. The Conn Smythe Trophy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's
I could be wrong on that, but
that's what I was thinking too. But I don't know. I mean, I think for the most part, let me think about this, because I kind of have a feeling that I feel like the NHL has wanted to do it where, even though that's happened, they've wanted to continue it to be
the winning team gets the Conn Smythe.
So I'm not sure if that's what they're going to continue to do, since I can't speak. But I have no idea, if I'm being honest with you. I would love to see it. I think it would be awesome. I think it would help a lot of the people that don't necessarily think Price is a good goaltender anymore. I think he's clearly shown he's still probably the best goalie in the world.
Yeah, he has. He's been flat out fantastic. And like this finals is going to be the best probably goaltending matchup you'll ever see in a while. Vasilevsky versus Carey Price, basically the two top goaltenders in the NHL, two top goaltenders in the world. Vasilevsky running with the new generation of goaltenders, and Carey Price with the older generation of goaltenders. Two of the best of their generation at this point. It's going to be a fan, but going with Tampa Bay, like just talking about what they've been through. Last year, they won the cup, probably one of the hardest cups to win in the bubble. Beat the Dallas Stars, and they finally got over their hump, and they finally won a cup. And now, basically, this roster. And honestly, too, this could, because I was listening to Hunter Brody and Kevin Durso doing their open ice hits, and Durso brought up a nice point about Tampa Bay, talking about, honestly, with this roster that Tampa Bay has put together right now, this could be possibly the last chance that they have with some of these groups of guys, because if you look at Tampa Bay right now, they're 14 million over the cap, 18 million over the cap. They're definitely going to have to shed a good chunk of salary going into next year to get under that cap threshold. Yeah. So there's going to be some good names lost. You never know for Tampa Bay. That's why I've always brought it up on a Flyer standpoint. Tampa Bay might be a nice team to negotiate with just to get some guys on this team, because they're definitely going to have to shed a lot of salary.
I'm not sure if they're going to want to lose certain guys, but I know there aren't many Lightning fans that, I guess you could say, I think there's probably some guys they'd probably go away from. I know Tyler Johnson's one that doesn't seem like he's necessarily loved by Lightning fans. I can't see them really getting rid of anybody else. Maybe Pat Maroon if that doesn't work out, but that's a cheap contract.
I feel like they're going to have to lose someone on the blue line. I feel like a guy like McDonough could be an option that they lose. It's like I'm not sure like that's the obvious thing. I just had that gut feeling that he might be one of those guys that they're forced to get rid of, because they're not going to lose Hedman. That's like their top defenseman. They're not going to try to get rid of him. He's staying at Lightning for the rest of his life. Yeah, Sergachev, they just signed him last year after the final, so they're not going to want to lose him. That's why I think a guy like McDonough could be a guy they lose. Honestly, if you look, maybe a guy like Palat, maybe that they lose him on the forward core. Like you said, Tyler Johnson, his $5 million cap hit. They've been trying to move him for so long. They even didn't they put him on waivers at one point to see if some team would pick him up, and no one picked him up?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna. But yeah, this might be the last chance with this like full-fledged core that they have to win a cup together, and it's gonna be their best chance. And hopefully and the way what this team has been through over so many years, ever since Steve Yzerman was the founder of the builder of this team, getting guys like Stamkos, Hedman, Kucherov, getting Braden Point, that absolute steal, and just building this entire roster together, but then going through their speed bumps along the way, losing in the finals to Chicago, getting beat by Pittsburgh in the conference finals, not making the playoffs one year because of injuries, losing to the Capitals in the conference finals, getting embarrassed by Columbus, getting swept when you had your best season, well, tied the best season in NHL history. And then you bounce back that next year, you win the cup in probably one of the hardest fashion possible. John Cooper, he was getting written off as, is this guy the right coach for this team to win a cup? Mm-hmm. Was Tampa Bay going to do something serious with the roster? But hey, they came back, they won a cup, and they're in the second best possible position to win another cup a second year in a row.
And that's why I stress not to panic and not to get upset when one season goes wrong, because we look at all these teams that have won cups recently, and you can go through probably the last 10 years of every cup winner, and you could sit there and you pick out all of the years of the misery they had before. The Penguins of having all these deep runs, not quite getting it done, missing the playoffs sometimes. Then they went back to back. The Capitals for how many fucking years were the Caps that good? Obviously, you just mentioned Tampa Bay. The Kings, they were two teams. I mean, Chicago was terrible beforehand, total rebuild and everything.
They were bad in the 2000s.
Right.
They were really bad in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. It makes me think, like, I really don't know how to take this final, because now I've been watching a lot of this stuff with just the way that the Habs have been playing and the way that they shut down Vegas at times and how good Price is. If they do that against Tampa Bay, I don't think Tampa is. I mean, it's one thing if they it's one thing if Vegas can't score goals, but if Tampa can't score goals, it's like, you know what I mean? So I don't know how that's gonna play out for Montreal if they're able to continue that. I would not be surprised if they win game 1 or game 2, if they win both of those. But then again, they pretty much got their tires pumped in game 1 of that. That was the only game of that series they did not look like they had no business winning, that game and game 3. The game where Fleury messed up. I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think that was a stupid decision by Vegas to take out Fleury and put Leonard in after one mistake, after how good he's played? I get it, it's the playoffs.
That's also the thing, because Fleury, over his career, even like going back to Pittsburgh, when you get into his head, it's hard for him to find his place back. Because remember the 2012 playoffs against the Flyers, he was flat out terrible that series. He was letting in bad goal. I know the goaltending on both sides of that series was terrible, but Fleury was just on another level of bad.
Right.
Honestly, if you go through Fleury's entire Pittsburgh career and then look at his numbers with Vegas, his numbers in Vegas flat out destroy what he did in Pittsburgh. He's a 10 times better goaltender. It does feel like he gets better with age, but he's like a 10 times better goaltender than he was in Pittsburgh, and he put up good numbers with Pittsburgh. I think this is this the first year that he's a Vezina nominee in his career, because he's never won a Vezina before. I'm not even sure if he's ever been a finalist for a Vezina. I think this is the first time in his career that he's been a finalist. I
could have sworn the 14-15. Let me look. I think it was 14. Give me 1 second. I can find this. Yeah, the only awards in here are the 3 cups and the Jennings Trophy.
Yeah.
But I know the 1 year, 14. Yeah, 14-15. He had 9 shutouts with the Penguins. Or sorry, wait. I'm sorry. 10 shutouts. He was 34-20-9, 2.32 totals against average, and 9.20 save percentage. That's one of the best years he ever had.
Was he a Vezina finalist that year?
I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Because it honestly should say that on Hockey Reference. It'll say what place they finished in Vezina voting, and that's something that usually pops up. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Price won that year because he won the Hart and the Vezina at the same time.
It was Dubnyk and Rene.
Oh, I forgot about Dubnyk. He was nominated for a Vezina once. That's one of those oddballers.
Dubnyk was really good, yeah.
Oh yeah, when he got traded to Minnesota and he was just flat out unstoppable for them. I forgot about that. But yeah, I wouldn't say I disagree with it per se, just because Lehner came in the next night. He won the game for them. He played very good. Honestly, I would have argued maybe you keep Lehner in there for the next game, Game 5, because Lehner played so good. But I can understand going back to Fleury because Fleury just played fantastic for you the entire season, and he was one of the main reasons you're up to this point in the first place. So I understand both sides of the argument. You ride the goaltender that just won you your last game, or you ride the goaltender that's mainly the reason you got to that point in the first place. So it's pick and choose at that point. In the end, I guess I know Lehner did play Game 6 for them. He played fantastic too. It was just Vegas just can't score. Yeah. Vegas's top two lines just could not score at all. Like Mark Stone was shut down. Like Marcia Show was shut down. Carlson was shut down. Pat Giretti only got one goal. Like Montreal did a fantastic job of shutting those guys down. And just for looking at Montreal too, like just the contributions that they're getting from all throughout the lineup, their defense, Shea Weber, ever since, like I know, like going back to the Weber PK Subban trade, I know there were a lot of people that were saying, oh, Nashville wins this trade automatically. You're getting PK Subban, and then Montreal is getting a Shea Weber that might be closer towards the back end of his career. He's getting injured a lot. He might not be that major of help for Montreal. But then, right, look at how the tides turned. PK Subban been moved to the Devils. Hasn't really been good for the Devils. You started to see his decline a little bit. And Shea Weber, yeah, there have been instances where he's been injured, but look at the veteran leader. Like he's definitely not the, I would say, top 10 defenseman, top 5 defenseman that he was like a couple of years ago when he was on Nashville. But he's definitely that leadership that he's bringing to this entire team. It's one of the best. He's been a great leader for that team, and just still looking at the contributions from throughout the lineup, the veteran leadership, guys like Corey Perry that a lot of people write off for his age and say that he's in a decline. He was in
he's going back to back now, Cup finals.
Yeah, he's in the finals last year with Dallas, and then look at guys like Eric Stahl who traded out of Buffalo, went to Montreal, and then there you go, a great veteran leadership, and also I'd say the perfect leadership possible for Montreal. Eric Gustafsson traded from the Philadelphia Flyers, and he's not an everyday defenseman. He's playing, I think, 9 minutes, and he wasn't a mainstay when he was traded there. He barely got any ice time when he got traded to Montreal, but during the playoffs, I think he's playing around 9-10 minutes a game, but he's been on their top power play unit, and he's been fine for them. Yeah, he's had some hiccups along the way, but what you expected to Eric Gustafsson, and I don't like Eric Gustafsson, but still. And just looking at the young players on this team that have developed into what they are, Nick Suzuki, developing, I wouldn't say a superstar.
Traded from Vegas, too.
Yeah, traded from Vegas for Pacioretty, and Suzuki is developing into a great two-way player. He is fantastic. Philippe Danault, one of the best two-way players in the game, probably a very underrated two-way player in the game. And then guys like Kakaniemi, he's been a clutch playoff performer for them.
I just still laugh at how they actually were close to not playing Caulfield and Kakaniemi.
Yes,
and how good they've been.
Yeah, speaking of Caulfield,
how stupid. It's just, oh my god.
I don't understand that decision by Montreal. We don't want to play the younger guys. What? Why? Because Caulfield has been amazing for them. He didn't score his first goal until the Vegas series, but ever since then, it's been you can't miss the net, and he's been making fantastic play after fantastic play, making me jealous. And I know, a lot of Flyers fans, every time they see Caulfield scored, is why did we draw? I do that too because 1, jealousy, and 2, I like chaos. So. And also jealousy, I think 3, 4, and 5, 6 points of those should be jealousy because I am very jealous. And no, it's nowhere knock on Cam York. I love Cam York, but I'm jealous. I'm just very jealous. That's basically what it is. But
yeah,
what he's providing,
will be jealous in a couple years.
But yeah, just what Caulfield has been providing for them, it's been flat out amazing. And it's funny too, they already have a nickname it's like the Barstool nickname for him, Goal Caulfield. JJ Watt is like his biggest fan right now, which is hilarious.
Yeah, from watching him at Wisconsin.
Yeah. So yeah, Montreal has just been, and their defense, like a lot of their guys on the defensive core have been very, very underrated too. And they're shutting some top teams down
too. When Gus is in their lineup.
Oh God.
Jamie Baskow keeps reminding me and everybody else on Twitter that, which is hilarious. I see it all the time. I'm like, God, just.
I don't think Gustafson is the reason.
Gustafson is terrible. No, I mean, I know he does it as a joke, but that's just such a shame.
Man. But yeah, just going if going back to Tampa Bay too. And like the run they've had to get here, like they've been through some tough series. That first series against the Florida Panthers, flat out amazing. It was amazing. It was fun to watch, and even more. Carolina, second round, great matchup. They outmatched Carolina. Carolina, I think they struggled to score against Carolina a little bit, but they beat them. They beat them, and then going up against the Islanders series, man, that was fun to watch too. And just that's game, the way Game 6 ended, man, with that McDonough spinorama that saved by, I think it was Pulick or Pellick on the goal line, man.
That was Game
6. That was because the Islanders they were down.
Wasn't it Game 4?
No, that was Game 6. That was Game 6.
Was it?
Yeah. No, wait, no, was it? It was Game 6 was the Pavilier overtime goal. That was the Pavilier overtime goal.
It was Game 4.
Because, it happened in that series.
It did, yes.
It happened in that series. That's the fact. It happened. But like seeing Nassau Coliseum, but now that was the last Game 6 ever played in Nassau, and they'll be moving over to their new arena. But just all three series, Tampa Bay has had to gone through very tough rides, and they managed to get over them. Game 7 against the Islanders, it was a 1-0 win. And it's funny too, Vasilevsky in game clinching games or series clinching games, I think he has a shutout streak. I think going back to either the conference finals last year or the Stanley Cup final last year, he has a shutout. And if you're going into a clinching game against Tampa Bay, you probably aren't going to score a goal, because that's how good Vasilevsky has been in game clinchers. He's been very good. Very, very good. And that's what honestly makes this series so tough to predict. It does, because do you go with the Montreal side because of their Cinderella story and just the way they're playing as a team and Carey Price? Or do you go with the Tampa Bay Lightning? Back-to-back years in the Stanley Cup final. They won it last year. And why not just pick them to go back-to-back? They have as great as it. That's honestly, at this point, you could. And yeah, definitely we're going to be giving our predictions, even though we're probably going to jinx either team we pick, because that's just the luck of here, especially Chris. He's probably going to jinx anyone who picks, because that's just the luck of his predictions at this point in his stage of his career.
Yeah, Amedeo,
I mean, it's just unluckiness.
It is.
It's just plain unlucky. Like it all started when you picked the Flyers to beat Pittsburgh and they lost, what was it, like 7-0 or something like that?
So one of the games I predicted the Flyers would win, I think they lost like 7-3 or something like that. I should just give up.
Yeah.
I should stop watching hockey. I should just start watching like golf or maybe cricket. I don't know.
Cricket.
Cricket.
That is a sport right there. Cricket.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
You're probably better at picking, I think, people to win the gold medal at the Summer Olympics this year. Possibly. I think the easiest bet you probably can make is USA basketball winning. That might be probably the easiest pick in the world. Or I think also the safest pick as well is that you could bet on the Phillies blowing a lead in the ninth inning every single game.
Oh yeah,
that's probably the easiest bet you could place on the past week.
How about Wheeler today though?
I didn't watch the game, but I saw Wheeler's stats, and yes,
I saw that second inning and then turned it off, thinking they went. Or sorry, top of the third inning. I'm actually going to the game on Wednesday against the Marlins, so that'll be fun. It's supposed to be 97 degrees. I should have a ball.
I pray for your health and I pray for your sanity.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Because
one, because of the heat, and two, because the Phillies will probably drive you crazy.
Yeah, probably. Well, I'm going to be going with my girlfriend and her family, so I'm excited.
There you go.
Yeah, it should be fun. So, yeah, I'm excited. But
oh god, yeah.
What's the camera? Are you making yourself bigger?
No, I was clicking something wrong, and I clicked the wrong thing. I was trying.
No, you're fine. I'm busting your balls.
So, do you want to save the predictions for the last, or do you want to get them to the now, or do you want to talk about some other stuff? Because we also have some other news. Let's save the predictions for last, because why not?
No comment.
Why? Yeah, no comment. So let's get away from the Stanley Cup Finals for a little bit. Let's move on to some NHL news. Past couple of days ago, Seattle, the Kraken, they hired their new head coach. And it was a very unsurprising pick. No one expected. Everyone was expecting. Well, Gallant was at the Rangers. Everyone after that, you were saying, okay, maybe it'll be Rick Tocchet. No, Dave fucking Hackstall. Out of all the coaches, Dave Hackstall.
It's
that man blows. And it's funny too. When the fuck did this guy get a goatee? He looks so weird with it. I didn't expect it. I see Seattle's freaking graphic that they did video, and I see Dave Hackstall. When the hell did he get that?
To me, it's surprising, but in all honesty, I've been kind of chewing on it for a couple days. And part of me doesn't necessarily think it's that bad, because here's why. That guy was last an NHL head coach 4 years ago. He's had to have learned shit, right? I mean, there's no way he doesn't go with all that skill in Toronto, and then from learning from his mistakes in Philly and everything. When he came here, he was straight out of college. That guy, it was like this. He did things that you would do in college, like overplaying defensemen, overusing fourth liner, shit like that you could get away with then, but in the best league in the world, you can't. But I will say, in his last game as head coach of the Flyers, scratched Oscar Lindblom for Yuri Laterra. I will say that. But it's also Dave fucking Hackstall. So there you go. I don't know.
This is also the guy that in today's sports world where analytics are becoming more of a useful topic.
Right.
This is the guy that also said advanced stats are bullshit. So, and also Chris Tarian also posted a tweet about this that's saying Seattle's advanced analytics are going to be so terrible. Don't expect anything about that.
I'm not.
Advanced analytics.
The one thing I will say is this, though.
What?
Does this change anything for the Flyers? Because now you have to think to yourself. To me, again, we've said this from the beginning, and I know I have, and I know you've agreed. They need to go into Seattle, the expansion, with whatever list of who they're protecting is their list. You take what you have here, and that's that, and we're moving on, and then they're getting everything that they have to do is going to be done past July 21st. So what does that leave Seattle? I think you have to look at two things. You have to look at how they mold their team. Obviously, the other thing would be how, who the Flyers protect, because that still isn't necessarily 100% because we have no idea. Do we know when that comes out by any chance? Is it the day of?
I think it's before? It might be the day of. It might be a day or two before the expansion draft. I think it's usually a couple days before. I think last time with Seattle, it was a couple of days before. But to go on that point, it's I think it's a yes and no question to how it might affect the Flyers. Because, Hackstall might have some insight on the Flyers, maybe who to pick because he's familiar with a lot of the players on the roster because he coached them not that long ago.
Right.
Yeah, maybe he.
I mean, a lot of
influences
the
Ron
roster is
Francis.
different, but some of those guys that they had brewing up in, Lehigh Valley at the time, or with the team now and stuff. So,
or even the guys that they're most likely going to expose, like you got Gostisbehere, you got JVR, most likely you got Voracek, most likely Haig.
Voracek, Hag.
So maybe he does entice
NAK.
Ron Francis. Maybe he does entice Ron Francis in Seattle to maybe pick someone, but then also at the end, it is Ron Francis's decision on what he wants to do with the team and how he wants to build it.
Right.
So
and that's the thing, because I think if they go with like a Vegas mold, I think Robert Hag's a perfect fit. But then again, you're getting lower into the lineup of the teams.
I would be crushed if Robert Hag gets selected.
Ooh.
I'd be like,
because you know what? It's only because the Hag and the third Joe can't be used anymore. That's the only.
And honestly, them picking Hag kind of ruins our entire offseason, because how are you going to move salary now? Because
salary, it's 1.8.
No, I'm talking about because you got to shed salary in order to make a lot of these moves that they're going to make.
That doesn't mean they can't get rid of cap still. You can make trades.
I know too, but
you still have the whole draft to get rid of. They still have, they still got that whole draft. They got that pick.
I'm still, just because you have to worry about, because if you are desperately trying to look to move a guy like a JVR or Voracek, it's going to be impossible to trade those contracts, especially in a flat cap world. That's why everyone's.
That bad though. It's the
8.5 though.
To try to get Jake.
I don't think.
I think JVR will be the same. If JVR, I swear to God, if JVR was at $6 million instead of $7 million, he would have been gone already. The extra $1 million is like, because you're like, I don't know.
That's why I think people are not going to want to trade for those contracts.
Yeah, dude.
That's why I'm like praying to God, hoping that Seattle takes one of those two guys. Honestly, even Ghost, because Ghost, that's 4.5 off the cap. You can work with that.
Shit.
You really can't work with them taking a guy like Nicolas Aube-Kubel or taking a guy like a Robert Hag or Justin Braun, because it sheds around $1 million off your cap, but not that much. It's gonna be difficult to work with. Mm-hmm. That's why everyone and their mother is hoping that they take one of these two guys.
Don't they have like $12 million in cap space because of all the shit that they've done? Like all those
I think that was just for the regular season. I'm not sure if that worked into the offseason or not, because Cap Friendly still has them just like banking around, I think, around $1 million in cap.
Their projected cap space is $13 million right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It also has 37 of 50 contracts on here because they have their UFAs and RFAs, so they're all taken off at the moment.
True.
So, and those guys are Carson Twarynski, Nolan Patrick, Samuel Morin, Travis Sanheim.
Sam
Elliott, Hart,
Travis Sanheim,
Lyon, yeah, and that's it.
So that might also be factoring. That might also be factoring into those guys not being signed. That cap space.
That's what it is. It's 37 of 50 contracts, or that are on here. They had like 48 of 50, like 49 at one point. And that was that after they signed Jackson Cates, I think, around that.
Could have been.
But, like, they have all their picks for this year. They have all of their own picks in rounds 1 through 4, 6, and 7, and then they have Vegas's 5th. And they traded what did they get the Vegas pick from?
I honestly could not tell you that. I think I know. I think if you go on Cap Friendly, it'll tell you how they got the pick or something like that. If you like hover over it, I think might be how
it was the Raffle trade. That pick was Vegas's. That 5th was Vegas's 5th.
Oh, Washington. Okay.
Yeah, that was probably the Stevenson trade. Got that. That's probably what that was, unless it was like you take a 5th, we'll give you a 5th if you take Schmidt or something.
Yeah,
that's probably not what it was.
I'm also wondering too, what was wasn't Gustafson's move?
It was a 7th.
Wasn't it a conditional 7th though? Like, what were the I thought it was a conditional 7th.
That's a great question.
Is it like he has to play like a certain amount of games, or is it like something that Montreal has to re-sign him or something like that?
It's like if the Canadiens win the Cup, it's becoming first.
I would love that if that was the possibility, but I highly doubt it. If that's like Marc Bergevin, like, okay, it's you be smart and you be probably smart because okay, your team just won the cup, so okay, this first round pick is probably useless to your factor. But
wait, the 7th. That was last year. They had the 7th, the Canadiens, right?
I think so. I know there was like so many years in a row where the Flyers would like consistently swap 7th.
Well, they have the Flyers 5th for this year, and that's from the Nate Thompson trade when the Flyers got Thompson last year at the deadline.
Yep. I know there's a conditional 7th in there somewhere for Eric Gustafson. I'm not sure if it was.
Is. It's the Flyers one, but it's not letting me click on it.
Yeah. Maybe you could probably just look up the trade too. That might
be.
That
would probably be smart.
Let's
but
see.
Trying to figure out what the condition is on it.
Eric Gustafson trade, Montreal Canadiens trade. Okay. Okay, let's see the trade.
I've had this computer for so long, and I still have barely any idea how to use it. It was just it's in 2022.
There you go. Oh, it's not even it's just a 7th round pick, no conditions or ever. It was a 7th round pick for next year, and they retained 50% of the salary.
Okay.
So there you go. That's the Eric Gustafson trade for you.
There you go.
Yep. So honestly, bring up a funny point here. So if you're going by Flyers logic, and people that leave the Philadelphia Flyers organization go on to win Stanley Cups. So Jeff Carter, Mike Richards did, Simone Gagne did, Braden Shen did, Luke Shen did technically in Tampa Bay.
Coburn.
And do you think Hackstall's going to win a cup with Seattle in the first couple of years before the Flyers do?
The amount of urge I have to hit leave studio at this moment. No, I'm kidding. I cannot believe you just asked me that.
I mean, you're going off Flyers logic because that would describe Flyers. A coach that was royally hated here, and rightfully so, honestly. But he goes on and wins the cup with an expansion team. That would honestly be a major kick in the balls.
What a kick in the teeth to Vegas too. If they were to win the cup in their first year, that would probably. Oh my
suck.
God!
Because of Vegas, they've been how many? This is their 5th year. They've been to the conference finals 3 out of those 4
and
years.
They make it. I love how their fans make it like it's so dreadful to watch them. Poor us. You've been to the conference finals.
Good for you, Vegas. Have you ever been a Philadelphia sports fan? It's painful.
Was it 3 times? No, was it twice or 3 times?
They've been to the conference finals 3 out of their 4 years, and the Stanley Cup finals was one of those years.
Wait. No, they were not. Are you shitting me?
17, 18,
year, this past year?
17, 18, they went to the conference finals. The next year, they lost in the first round to San Jose. The bubble year, which was 1920, they lost in the conference finals to Dallas. And then this year, they lost the conference finals to Montreal.
The last time the Flyers hit the conference finals was 2010.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And
you can go cry me a river.
People in Vegas think you're deprived. Welcome to Philadelphia.
Oh, my God.
Welcome to Philadelphia, where all of our franchises suck.
I think we might have legitimately the worst MLB franchise.
I think we have the worst 4 set of sports franchises in history.
No,
honestly.
Detroit.
That's I know that's
besides the Red Wings. That's just terrible.
I wouldn't say the Pistons in like the early 2000s. They were a really good team. The Tigers in the 2000s, the early 2000s.
That's like the same as Philly. It's like
the Phillies are the worst. The Phillies are the worst sports team in history of sports.
Probably.
They have over 1,000. I think it's over 1,000 losses, 10,000 losses. I think it's over 10,000 losses, something like that. It's bad. It's bad. I think they're like the first team.
Loss record. Because surprisingly, the Flyers win-loss record all time isn't that bad because they've been a good playoff team, but they've just only won 2 cups. They've been in the league 46 years. They made the playoffs.
They've been in the league over 50 years.
I'm so stupid. I mean, I meant cup drought. I'm sorry. I said the cup drought year, but I meant
the 50th anniversary was 2017.
Yeah, Amedeo, you know what? I'm having a night, my friend.
Well, also credit to your. It's also 20 of 11.
Yeah, right. Okay, it's F you. Like, you know what? Now I got to look at the Phillies win-loss record because I can't even get this out of my head. Like in total, because you're just aggravating me now. They have okay, it's 9,888 wins to 11,071 losses.
It was over 11,000. Man, I give him the benefit of the doubt.
And Charlie Manuel won 780 of those games.
Yes, because Charlie Manuel was our best manager in the history of the franchise.
Yeah. They're just
because
terrible.
He was the manager of probably the most successful stint in Phillies history. I know we're getting way off topic, but you know what? I don't care.
They had some unbelievable years though for a while.
They did. In the 80s, they were a good playoff team in the 80s. Then they eventually died down. They went to the World Series in 93. Then they went on a gigantic playoff drought between 94 and 06. It was probably a very long and dreadful drought. That was 12-year plus.
They've made playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
They
7,
haven't made it that many times.
8,
no, it's very little.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times.
Yep.
Since where did I start at? Like 1951?
Just bottom line on that summary.
50?
Bad.
And they made the World Series that year, and they got swept in 1950. And the next year they made it was 1976. And then they won those. They got in those 3 years in a row, 76 to 78. 80, they won the World Series in 6 against Kansas City. And then they lost the next year in the divisional series. Then they lost in the World Series in 83 to
Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah. Lost in the World Series in 93 to
Toronto on that walk-off home run.
Yep, Carter.
Vividly remember it, even though
5 years in a row they won the division.
Yeah.
And they should have won at least 3 World Series in those 5 years.
They should have won 2 World Series, but I mean, at this point, the way the franchise, I'll take fucking 1. I would take 1.
I mean, dude, all they need is a fucking bullpen. They have the offensive talent to put up 7, 8 a fucking night. And they still blow games. Like, it's nothing. It's like you have one game where the pitching.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
And then the bats go fucking silent. And then you have the next game where they're putting up, as I just said, 7, 8, 9, 10. Put up, 17 against Cincinnati? And then the pitching, and then the pitching is all over the place. It's like, my God.
Yes.
They blow, okay. Why is Neris still the closer? Like, why haven't they switched that?
I don't know, and I don't care. Because the Phillies just don't entice me to watch them. I don't get pumped to. I'm gonna go watch the Phillies. No, I don't.
I mean, I can't.
It sucks too because they're the only Philadelphia sport playing. That's what sucks. That's the bad thing.
Yeah,
and then
but that's the thing. It's like when the Phillies win, everybody's happy. You know what I mean? Because they suck.
Honestly, I'm not even happy when they win because I know at bottom and they're not a good team. I just can't because you'll have Phillies now. When the fall rolls around, you'll have the Eagles, and you know that season's going to be so bad. We have no expectations for them. The Flyers, honestly, coin flip at this point. History will tell you over this past decade they'll make the playoffs because, they miss. But you never know. And the Sixers, by God, hopefully they get Ben Simmons off this goddamn team. And that's all I'm going to say from there. But I think it's time for, without further ado, to get into our predictions. So, Chris,
I'm ecstatic. Woohoo.
So
let's get right into it.
I want you to give your prediction on who's going to win the Stanley Cup. Is it going to be Montreal or is it going to be Vegas?
You mean Tampa?
Yes.
You said Montreal or Vegas. Okay.
Yes, I know what I said.
I think I'm going to go with Vegas.
You're
Because
gonna go
I have no chance of being wrong.
Okay,
Vegas.
but actuality, Montreal or Tampa Bay?
I think Tampa Bay wins in 6 games.
You think Tampa Bay is going to win 6 games?
If they could score on Price, they win.
Okay. And that is Chris's prediction, folks. He's going with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Who are you going with?
So,
I can already tell by your shirt. Ladies and gentlemen, as soon as we join this podcast, I look at him, I say, do you have a fucking Canadian shirt on? I wanted to grab him through my computer and just punch him and then throw him back. Like those things in Disney, just like.
Because we also have a couple of comments here saying John saying Tampa Bay Lightning is going to win the cup. And he also threw a point in there earlier saying the Leafs might not even make the playoffs next year, which I don't believe. So, yeah, I think it's kind of obvious from where I'm going with this for my prediction for the Stanley Cup final. But I am going with the good old Montreal Canadiens.
In how many games?
That's tough. Eliboo.
Sweep?
That's what I'm going with. Eliboo. I'm not saying not sweep. No way in hell.
Habs in a sweep? Why not?
No. That'll probably be like. When
was the last sweep in the Cup final? The Caps, or no? When the Red Wings swept the Capitals.
Could have been. I honestly don't remember.
98.
Did the Red Wings sweep the Hurricanes though? Did they sweep the Hurricanes or did they?
Yes, they did.
So it might have been that final.
So it was 2.
It might have been. It might have been that final.
Because 03 was in 7, 4 was in 7. 5 there wasn't on 6 was
6
in 5.
was in 7.
7
that was in 7.
2 was in 5. 8 was in 6. 9 was in 7. 10 was in 6. 11 was 7. 12 was 6.
There hasn't been a sweep in a while, and I don't think there's going to be a sweep anytime
soon.
The
only one that was 5 was
I don't think there's been a 5 in a recent history. No,
the Capitals.
5 was the Kings too. The Kings as well. They beat the Rangers in 5.
They did, yeah, and the Caps beat,
and also the Capitals.
Yeah, they lost the first game. They won 4 straight.
Yep. So, in terms of games for Montreal, I think regardless, this series goes 6 or 7. I don't see any team winning this in 5 or a sweep. I just don't. Both of these teams are too good to lose in the 4 or 5 games, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm going 6 or 7, and I'm going to Montreal Canadiens just because everything for them has gone right, and I think this is the Cinderella story that actually ends with the perfect ending for them. And also, it'll be nice too because Canada finally gets their first cup since '93. I mean, it's been overdue for Canada at this point.
Yeah,
I know, Chris, because you despise Montreal, so I know, but I'm hopping on the
only Canadian team I don't like that. Like
I'm hopping on the bandwagon. I love the way Montreal plays. I love their mix of group of guys. I love Carey Price. I just think with the way they're playing, I think it's their ear. I just think
about the T-shirt too.
Look, explanation. I had a $50 gift card that I needed to use, so I went, hey, let me look through these final 4 teams.
Had a nice Cam York Flyers T-shirt.
I'm not buying a Cam York Flyers T-shirt.
Why not?
No. Not right now. I love Cam York, but I'm not going to buy his T-shirt right now. But I look for these final 4 teams. T-shirt that I wanted. Vegas, I already have 2 shirts because I've been to Vegas twice, so no thank you. And out of all 3, the final 3 teams, Tampa Bay, Islanders, and Montreal, this Montreal shirt was the favorite one that I saw out of all 3 teams. So that's why I picked it. And it wasted the rest of my gift card, so I'm happy with that. I needed to get rid of it before it expired. So
I still don't forgive you. But
hey, my hate towards Montreal was out of pure jealousy. So throw the jealousy in the trash, and I'm hopping on the bandwagon because I love the way this team plays. I don't care who wins the cup. I just want Montreal to win it just because to see their Cinderella story end. I want to see Carey Price win a cup, and I want to see the cup return to Canada. I just think it's overdue.
I hate both teams, so I really don't care who wins.
It's weird because I see it's weird because I see everyone saying, I don't want Tampa Bay to win this cup. Why does anyone hate Tampa Bay? They're like the least hateful team in the league. Is it just because they won the cup last year and no one wants to see a repeat?
Why would I want to see them go back to back?
I like seeing teams go back to back because it's a rare oddity. I know Pittsburgh did it a couple of years ago, but still, I still think it's a rare occasion that it's going to barely happen again after this.
It is. It's just I want to see different faces win the cup, not the same team when they're $18 million over the cap.
I mean, hey,
like,
it's like
I get it's a rule, and I'm not going to bitch about it being a rule, but like, it's kind of fucking stupid. I don't understand why it's a rule in the first place.
It's not even a rule; it's a loophole in the CBA,
right?
that they're abusing, and hey, that's definitely going to be brought up next contract CBA negotiations, without a doubt. So
they can go in and change the CBA if they wanted to.
I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to. What they could if it becomes that drastic. Because the one thing you got to think too is you got the Olympics coming up next year. You have the Olympics in 22 and 26, which is great because the Olympics in 18 were okay for hockey when you would watch Datsuk and Kovalchuk against Germany for the Olympic athletes of Russia.
But for the other teams, no.
No,
USA, it was just a bunch of college players. There's a bunch of guys that don't play in the league anymore. You saw Brian Giunta, for Christ's sakes.
He's their captain.
He was their captain, yeah. Canada, a bunch of guys that didn't play in the league anymore. They're like junior teams or whatever, or they played overseas and they're just from Canada.
Right. But I cannot wait to see Joel Farabee on that USA roster.
Might happen. You never know. Will Carter Hart be on the roster? I think maybe he's too young for that. Maybe when he gets closer towards his prime, I think.
Maybe third string.
Maybe third string. It just depends on how everything goes because
there's just two good goalies from Canada. It's going to be Price and Hellebuck.
Isn't Hellebuck an American? I think Hellebuck's American. I think he is.
Yeah, he is, right. So he'll be USA probably. Yeah, and the other USA goalie is.
That's tough because you don't have Ryan Miller anymore. Plus, he was old regardless. But like, who's the other like really good USA goal? Like, maybe could you go Thatcher Demko, possibly, or do you think he's really hasn't? Because I don't I can't think of any USA goaltender right now for some reason besides Hellebuck. Like it's just not popping into my brain.
Bennington? No.
Nah.
Wow, massive brain fart. Kemper? Is Kemper? No. I can't remember.
Let's see, like
all the top
NHL,
goalies from different
USA goalies. Let's see who play in the league right now. That's giving me the list of active American goaltenders. Let's see. Ryan Miller, he's retired. Jonathan Quick, he's probably on the backstage of his career. Craig Anderson, no. John Gibson, he'll probably be one of those guys.
It'll be Gibson,
and Hellebuck. There you go. Maybe you could throw Jack Campbell in there as a third stringer with Thatcher Demko. Or honestly, and not Nedeljkovic, he's too young. Yeah, most likely. If you're looking at a team,
Connor Delia and Anthony Stolars.
Oh God. Oh God.
That sounds fun.
Oh boy. Well, it is 5 of 11 on the East Coast. We've been doing this for almost 55 minutes, so I think it's the proper time to end this podcast. So we've given you our predictions for the Stanley Cup Finals. Chris has gone Tampa Bay. I choose Montreal. So we both probably just jinxed these teams, and no one's going to win the Stanley Cup. It's going to be Gary Bettman. He's going to win the Stanley Cup. He's going to win the Conn Smythe. Everything. We talked about some Dave Hackstall stuff, and it was a very fun time. Very late. I'm sure both of us are very tired. So we're going to end this thing. So without further ado, everyone, don't forget to check us out. Separate YouTube channels, separate Twitter accounts. TTP Sports for me on YouTube, and Twitter, it's Amedeo Grassia 98. For Chris, his YouTube is Flyers Fan Mania 93, and Twitter is _Chris Maher. For Painted Lines, everything, all those links will be in the description below. Sub at the Painted Lines, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you can find them at. So thank you, everyone, for joining this late edition of the Fired Up Podcast. Let's enjoy the Stanley Cup finals tomorrow. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun matchup. Let's have some fun watching these games. And let's not get too overly emotional. But, I like chaos. So I'm going to get overly emotional because why not? But hey, thank you, everyone, for joining this podcast. And we will see you next time.